Good morning, beautiful people. Y'all know if I got something on my spirit, I'm just going to get on here and talk about it. So here we go. Happy Black History Month, by the way. So this actually happened last month, but you know my Black history is 24/7, 365. Cause um, last month my son had a competition at his high school, and at the beginning of the competition, before it started, we were all escorted to the gym. Somebody sang the national anthem, and then we were instructed to put our hands over our hearts, stand up, and do the whole Pledge of Allegiance, right? Well, actually, we were told to stand up before they sang the national anthem. And some people put their hands on their hearts during that as well. While I did stand, I don't recite anything. The only reason I stood is because, honestly and truly, I didn't want to ruffle any feathers in front of my son. I didn't want to start no mess during my son's moment because it wasn't my moment. But I refused to put my hand over my heart, and I refused to say that thing. I haven't said it since I was about in the second grade. If y'all don't know, I went to a Catholic high school on the south side of Chicago back in the days when they used to have nuns that would crack your knuckles with rulers. Now, I got in trouble for not saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I think I got a note sent home or something like that. And my mom asked me, she said, okay. My mom didn't say, you got to do it or whatever. My mom said, why won't you say it? And I simply said to her, it says justice for all, and everybody doesn't have justice, mommy. Even at 8 years old, I grew up on the south side of Chicago, like I said, but my parents are from Mississippi. They were born in the 40s. So a lot of the Black history that everybody was learning about in books, I was already knowledgeable about, because they always taught me not only who I am, but where I come from. And that's very, very important to me. They instilled in us, hey, you kids got to go out there and do your best and be great, because the world is hard and it's going to be 10 times harder for you because of what you look like. And even at that young age, I knew that there were so many things going wrong in the world. I am 45 years of age. I was born in 1979. In my lifetime, we're not even going to talk about the more recent unaliving of our Black and brown brothers and sisters by the people in blue. We can go back to James Byrd. What was that, 98, 99? I was 18, 19. The Black man that basically, they say he caught a ride with these guys. I say he was kidnapped. The reports always say that he caught a ride with these people. I say he was kidnapped. And then they tied him to the back of they put a chain on him, tied him to the back of the truck and dragged him for miles until he was unalived. Or the countless people that have quote unquote disappeared only to be found later. And then it comes out years later that they were unalived by people that were just had a few beers and wanted something to do. These are things that have happened in my lifetime. Or the young man that was executed several years ago here in Georgia because they believe that he unalived a police officer. Even though the jurors recanted their stories, they said they were pressured into lying on the stand so that he could be convicted. They still executed him. These are things that have happened within my lifetime, as well as so many other things. I believe that it was maybe my senior year of high school, freshman year in college. There was a young man in a neighborhood. I ain't gonna say neighborhood, but it was a young man in the neighborhood riding his bike. He was one of the few Black families in that neighborhood. And even at that time, we talking about the late 90s, y'all. We talking about 97, 98, okay? Because the white families in that neighborhood, we talk about in Chicago, a big metropolitan city, because they did not want that Black family in there, even though that Black family had the money, had all the credentials to be living there, they had the rights to be living there just like everybody else. This neighborhood was predominantly white. These parents wanted this particular house for their family. All right, so their son was out riding a bike one day. What happens? Some kids say, "What you doing over here? You don't belong." He says, "I live here." They beat him until he was brain unalived. I think the young man lasted in the hospital for about 2 weeks. And then he went on to glory. And if I'm correct, that young man was only 16 years old. There is also there's a parade by the people with the triple letters that goes on every single year in Chicago because of free speech. Now, why I support free speech, I do not support hate speech. And to me, that is hate speech. That's all it is. It's a hate parade. It's not a parade with balloons and clowns and bands. It's a hate parade is what it is. But they are protected by free speech, which is crazy to me. Because if we can... If they can ban hate speech on these apps, why they can't ban it in real life? What? But they gonna say people can say what they want, right? There are so many things that have happened during my lifetime. So, you want me to say the Pledge of Allegiance? You want me to put my hand over my heart? I'm not finna pledge allegiance to no place where my black boys can walk out the door and not come back and not make it back home because of what they look like. Now, the day that stops, that'll be the day I put my hand over my heart. And I don't care how nobody feels about it. These are my feelings. This is my life. And I do appreciate all the work that the ancestors did to put me in the position that I'm in. Whether they were black, brown, white, whatever. Because don't get me wrong. Everybody of other races is not evil. There are tons of people that have helped people in general just be able to live and have the basic rights that they're supposed to have. So I'm not saying it's like I hate a certain group of people. I would never say that. But I refuse to put my hand over my heart and be proud of a place where me and my kids can literally walk outside and not make it back in these doors simply off of living and breathing as black people. Now, I'm going to add something else to this and I'm going to get off of here. When the national anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance was being sung and said, I stood there with another black mother. We didn't say anything to each other. And if you ever see this, sis, but we didn't say anything to each other. And I'm not, it makes me emotional because it's real. But there was an unspoken bond in that moment because neither one of us, we stood, but neither one of us put our hands on our heart. And I felt like there was a silent understanding because we were both there representing and supporting our children. But we both also knew what that moment meant. So I know there's been a lot of people that have succeeded and done a lot of things in this world. But let me tell you something. My son getting ready to graduate, right? In a few months. And when my black son walks across that stage, baby, you ain't gonna be able to shut me up. I'm gonna be crying. I'm gonna be hollering. I cry now thinking about it. Because it's another generation that's going on, that's succeeding. It's another milestone. It's another step. You hear what I'm saying? You know how they say that we stand on the shoulders of the ancestors? When I see my sons succeeding, when I see all of our kids succeeding, it makes me very proud, right? But because I know that the odds are stacked against my kids due to no fault of their own, when they succeed, yeah. So anyway, I didn't want to start my morning crying. I said I'd never be on the internet crying. But this is real. And this is personal. But I wanted to share it with y'all. So when people get upset because people want to kneel, people want to sit, let people do what they do. If people are allowed to say hateful things, let me do what I do. If you're allowed to say your hateful things and you're allowed to say what you want to say, I don't say nothing to you. As long as it don't affect me, I don't say nothing to you. As long as you're not coming in my face and saying it, I don't say nothing to you. So when the Pledge of Allegiance is being said and I don't put my hand over my heart and I don't repeat it and I don't join in the singing of the national anthem, don't look at me crazy. Don't look at me like I should be. Don't look at me like I should be ashamed. I'm not. The same way that people are emboldened to push hate into the universe, I have the right to stand in my choices. I hope that one day I'll feel comfortable enough to say it. I hope that one day the world changes enough in my lifetime where I feel so proud to say it. But right now, ain't that time. And that's just what it is. If you made it to the end of this video, I love you for real. And I appreciate you. Subscribe to the channel. It sounds weird saying that with tears in my eyes. But yeah, I hope you subscribe to my channel. This is me speaking my truth on whatever is in this noggin of mine. And I hope you enjoy my content. I know this is off the beaten path, but I just woke up with this on my spirit. But I hope y'all have an amazing rest of your day on purpose. Please try to treat everybody right, no matter who they are, what they look like, what they represent. If you don't like somebody, keep it moving. Don't say nothing. You ain't got to say nothing. You can dislike them in your head. You ain't got to say nothing out of your mouth. You don't have to make them feel a way because you don't like them, okay? So have an amazing day on purpose. Be kind to others. You never know when you might need somebody. Peace and blessings.